The night was unusually quiet at Maplewood Police Station. Officer Karen Blake sat in her patrol car, sipping lukewarm coffee as she watched the empty parking lot of the suburban shopping mall. It was a routine shift, the kind of night where nothing ever happened, or so she thought. Her radio crackled to life. Unit 14, possible abandoned minor reported at Maplewood Plaza. Security requesting assistance near the west entrance. Karen grabbed the radio. Copy that. En route. She arrived at the west entrance in under 5 minutes, her headlights cutting through the dimly lit parking lot. The mall's night security guard, a middle-aged man with a weary face, waved her over. "Officer Blake," he began, "you're not going to believe this. There's a kid just sitting inside. No adult in sight. Won't say a word." Karen followed him into the mall, her boots echoing on the polished tiles. Near the fountain in the central atrium sat a small boy, no older than 5. He clutched a threadbare teddy bear to his chest. His clothes were slightly dirty, and his shoes looked worn, but his eyes, a haunting mixture of fear and exhaustion, were what struck her most. Karen crouched to his level, her tone gentle. "Hi there. My name's Karen. I'm a police officer. Are you okay?" The boy didn't answer. He stared at her, his grip tightening on the teddy bear. Karen tried again. "What's your name, sweetheart? Do you know where your parents are?" Still, no response. The security guard sighed. "He's been like this since I found him about 20 minutes ago. Just sitting there. I didn't want to scare him, so I called you." Karen nodded. "You did the right thing." She turned back to the boy. "It's okay. You're safe now. Would it be all right if I took you somewhere warm?" After a long moment, the boy gave a tiny nod. Karen gently reached for his hand, but he recoiled slightly before reluctantly taking it. She led him to her patrol car, buckled him into the back seat, and handed him a juice box from her glove compartment. He hesitated, then took it with both hands, sipping cautiously. "We'll get you checked out at the station, okay?" Karen said, keeping her tone soft. "Then we'll figure out where your family is." At the station, Karen brought the boy into a small, brightly lit room furnished with a table, a couple of chairs, and a box of toys meant for situations like this. The boy sat quietly, clutching his teddy bear as he watched Karen. She brought him a warm blanket and a small plate of cookies. "Here you go. You must be hungry." The boy reached for a cookie, his small hands trembling. Karen's heart ached at the sight. "Can you tell me your name now?" she asked gently. After a long pause, the boy finally whispered, "Leo." Karen smiled. "Hi, Leo. That's a great name. Can you tell me where you live? Or where your mom and dad are?" Leo shook his head, tears welling in his eyes. "It's okay, Leo. You don't have to be scared. We're here to help you." Leo didn't respond. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, crumpled piece of paper. Karen unfolded it carefully. It was a hand-drawn map, crude but clear enough to show a house with a large tree in the yard and a road leading to a park. Karen frowned. "Is this where you live?" Leo nodded slowly. With the map in hand, Karen decided to start searching for answers. She left Leo in the care of another officer, promising she would return soon. Driving through the quiet streets of Maplewood, she followed the crude map, her mind racing with questions. How had a little boy ended up alone at the mall? Why was he so scared? The map led her to a modest neighborhood on the outskirts of town. She found a house that matched the drawing. A small, weathered home with a large oak tree in the front yard. The windows were dark, and the driveway was empty. Karen knocked on the door. No answer. She peered through a window and saw that the interior was sparsely furnished, with signs of recent abandonment. Toys were scattered on the floor, and a few dishes sat unwashed in the sink. Her gut told her something was very wrong. Returning to the station, Karen updated her colleagues. They ran a search on the address and found it was registered to a couple, Daniel and Emily Carter, who had recently filed for bankruptcy. Neighbors reported seeing them packing up a moving truck a week ago but had no idea where they went. Karen sat down with Leo again, her voice soft but firm. "Leo, Do you know where your mommy and daddy went? Leo's eyes filled with tears. They said I had to stay hidden. That someone was coming for us. Karen's stomach dropped. Did they say who? Leo shook his head, clutching his teddy bear tightly. The more Karen delved into the case, the stranger it became. The Carters had no known relatives in the area, and their financial troubles seemed to have spiraled into something darker. Searching through the teddy bear Leo carried everywhere, Karen discovered a hidden zipper. Inside was a folded piece of paper with a series of cryptic numbers and the phrase, "Protect Leo at all costs." Karen realized this wasn't just a case of neglect. The Carters had been running from something, or someone, and Leo was at the center of it all. Karen couldn't shake the feeling that Leo's parents' disappearance was tied to something much larger. She contacted Detective Alan Peters, a seasoned investigator known for his work on complex cases. When she showed him the cryptic note and numbers, his expression grew serious. "This isn't just random scribbling," Peters said, examining the note under a magnifying glass. "These numbers might be coordinates, or maybe an account number. Whatever it is, it's significant." Karen frowned. "Do you think the Carters were involved in something unusual? Or were they trying to protect Leo from someone?" Peters leaned back in his chair. "It could be either. But one thing's for sure, they were desperate. Filing for bankruptcy, packing up and leaving with no trace, they were running from something." Meanwhile, Leo remained under the care of the station's social worker, Maria Sanchez. Maria had a knack for connecting with children, and she spent hours gently coaxing information from the boy. "Leo," Maria said softly as they played with building blocks, "can you tell me anything about the numbers Karen found in your teddy bear?" Leo hesitated, then nodded. "Daddy said they're a key. But I don't know what for." Maria's heart ached for the boy. "That's okay, sweetheart. You're doing so well. We'll figure it out together." As the investigation progressed, Karen and Peters discovered that the Carters had ties to a mysterious research project at a private firm. The firm had been conducting experiments related to environmental cleanup, and the Carters' evidence suggested the project had unforeseen consequences, perhaps even a cover-up. The numbers in the teddy bear were confirmed to be coordinates, leading to a remote cabin in the woods outside Maplewood. Karen and Peters drove out to the location, their anxiety mounting with every mile. The cabin was decrepit, its windows boarded up and the surrounding forest eerily silent. Inside, they found a safe embedded in the floor. Using the coordinates as a code, they unlocked it to reveal a stack of documents, a burner phone, and a USB drive. Back at the station, the contents of the USB drive painted a complex picture. The Carters had gathered data showing that the research project's chemicals were leaking into the local ecosystem, potentially harming nearby communities. "No wonder they were scared," Peters muttered. "This could ruin the firm's reputation and put people in danger." Karen's focus, however, remained on Leo. But why leave him behind? They must have known how dangerous this was. Peters nodded. Maybe they thought he'd be safer out of sight. Or maybe they didn't have a choice. The revelation intensified the urgency of the case. Karen arranged for Leo to be placed in protective custody while the team worked to track down his parents and confront the firm. Despite the chaos, Karen made time to visit Leo every day, bringing him small toys and reading him bedtime stories. One evening, as she tucked him in, Leo looked up at her with wide, trusting eyes. "Will Mommy and Daddy come back?" Karen hesitated, then squeezed his hand gently. "We're doing everything we can to find them, Leo. And until then, you're safe here." Several days later, Karen received a call from Detective Peters. "Karen, we found the Carters. They're safe, but it's complicated." Karen's heart raced as she listened to Peters' explanation. The Carters had been hiding in a remote safe house, fearing for Leo's safety and their own. They left Leo behind because they believed he'd be safer out of their immediate reach while they tried to gather more evidence against the corrupt research firm. Karen arranged for a secure meeting between Leo and his parents at a child-friendly facility. When Leo saw his parents, his face lit up with joy, and he ran into their arms. Tears streamed down Emily Carter's face as she hugged her son tightly. "We're so sorry, Leo," she whispered. "We love you so much." Daniel Carter looked at Karen with gratitude. Thank you for keeping him safe. You've done more for our family than we could.